friends, welcome to my beautiful kitchen. So I'm Chef Anita and at WannaBee Chef, and today I'm going to show you a kind of my take on vegan meat, a vegan shepherd's pie. So here I am. I've just wiped up these mushrooms. You don't wash mushrooms because if you do, they absorb water. So you just wipe them up with a damp Bounty and that's it. So I'm gonna pop all this into my food processor. I have cauliflower. Actually, this is not cauliflower, it's collini, and it's a sweet stem, smaller bits. So my food processor will kind of break all this down, and we are grinding up our meat, which is just collini florets and mushrooms, and I'll show you what else I'm gonna put in. And what I have cooking on my stove is I've caramelized some onions, just in 1 teaspoon of olive oil and finely chopped onion. This was 1 medium onion, just finely chopped, and I put it on the stove to caramelize. This did take a bit of time, so I got a head start on that because I don't want to get you bored in my video. So there we go. I'm gonna close my food processor, turn it on, and just gonna pulse this, okay? Because I'm not trying to get like a meaty consistency to my vegetables. Okay, there we are. And to this, now I have here 1 cup of peas and 1 cup of carrots. And the reason my carrots are chopped up is because I had frozen carrots and peas. But this is 1 cup of peas and 1 cup of carrots. And this is a 1/2 cup of French lentils, red lentils, which I have just soaked for about 2 to 3 hours in hot boiling water and then drained them out. So that's all I did. I washed the lentils first, always wash lentils. And to that, I let it sit in a bowl with a 1/2 cup of lentils and about like 3 cups of hot boiling water. So it's important that you use hot boiling water because that will almost cook your French red lentils. And it was sitting for about 3 hours, okay? So that's why I got a head start on that. And there we go. And to this, I'm gonna add some salt, about a teaspoon of salt, some black pepper, and I'm gonna add the other seasonings right now because this way they'll blend well. Now what I'm adding here is a teaspoon of my broth base and seasoning. This is a vegan broth base seasoning that I bought on Amazon, and it's chicken flavored, so it really gives a very nice meaty taste. So that's a teaspoon, and why not another 1/2, okay? Gives a nice taste. There we go. And this has, by the way, no MSG, so that's why I like this brand. It is called Orrington Farms Broth Base and Seasoning that I picked up on Amazon. A teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. This is from Trader Joe's, but if you don't have pumpkin pie spice, you could use nutmeg and cinnamon, and it will just work as well. So this is for some nice meaty seasoning too. And to that, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of liquid aminos. Liquid aminos are a substitute for soy sauce. So you could either use liquid aminos, that's my tablespoon, or you could use soy sauce if you want, or you could even use coconut aminos. Now this is a very interesting product, and when I want to create a very meaty taste, this is what I use. This is hickory liquid smoke. I also got, it's pretty much available now everywhere. So when you want to, but this you gotta be really careful. Do not use a whole lot. It will really spoil the taste of your meal. So for this, I'm really gonna first start with a 1/4 teaspoon. You do not want to use more than that because it will change the, kind of become too smoky. You don't want to do that. So there's a 1/4 teaspoon of my liquid smoke, and that's it. I'm now going to give a quick pulse blend again to my meat that's in there, and there we go. Bring everything in together because we're trying to create a meat here. Okay. Let me just take my spatula, push all this back down. one more spin because it's a bit too much, so it's gonna come rising up on the side. So this is what it looks like ground meat. And of course you have the green from the green peas. So these are the vegetables that I use because these are kind of my favorite veggies. But if you do have some other favorites and you prefer other vegetables, go ahead and use that. But I just feel these are so neutral in taste, so they really do help taste like meat. And you don't want to use a very watery vegetable like, let's say, zucchini, you know, because zucchini will tend to give out so much water. So you want to use, I personally would think not even cabbage. You could use peppers if you had peppers. I didn't have any peppers today. So if you had some bell peppers would be nice. What else? I think mushrooms of any sort, shiitake, button. I used white button mushrooms, but any sort of mushrooms would be great in this. I would not use zucchini. I would not use eggplant, so kind of stay away from that. Okay. So I put that in with my onion that had been caramelizing for a while, and I'm gonna cook this mixture so it picks up all the flavors of the seasoning and kind of comes together with the onion, the sweetness of the caramelized onion. And pretty much we're gonna add to this. I'll just taste it and maybe add a little garlic powder as I am working on this. You could at this point add some fresh garlic or some garlic powder. See how the salt is doing. Very good. I think the salt is perfect. I would not add any more salt. Just gonna add some garlic powder here, okay? And this is gonna take about, like, let's say 10 minutes, because you really want the vegetables not to just go straight in the oven. You wanna get it a bit of the roasted flavor, because if I put it in like this in the oven, I sometimes feel like the vegetables tend to taste like they were just steamed. And you're not looking to eat steamed veggies in your shepherd's pie, but kind of like really cook this down like you would be cooking meat or chicken or ground chicken. It's not celery salt, actually it's just dehydrated celery that since I have a dehydrator and I drink a lot of celery juice, so what I do is with the leftover celery pulp, I dehydrate it and then grind it up into a nice celery powder. So I have some of my own homemade celery seasoning. Okay, so let this cook down for like about, I would give it 10 minutes, but don't leave it. If you're gonna leave the stove, I would turn it down to like a medium. And what we're gonna do now is start assembling it. So this has been cooking for about 10 minutes on a medium, bringing in all the flavors together. I added in the not salt, because there was enough salt. So if you're adding celery salt, make sure you add less salt, like not the whole teaspoon, because your dish will get very salty. Mine was just plain celery, like I told you. It was celery powder, dehydrated and powdered celery. So here's my meat. It's ready. It's been cooking for 10 minutes. And now I'm gonna put it in a dish, a Pyrex dish that is just being oiled. All I had here was some sliced potatoes. I did it on the mandolin. You could do it by hand or on the mandolin, whichever works for you. Sliced and put into salt water, okay? That's it, and then drained out. So use any kind of potato you want, but I think an Idaho potato works well for this. So here we go. Just gonna turn everything over, get myself some room here. Put the meat into so this is a nice mixture for a meat. It could be used even for burgers, but you would have to use something to bind it. Maybe if you're a vegetarian and you eat egg, a little bit of egg and breadcrumbs would bind this. But if you are vegan, then you could use like a flax egg or a little bit of all-purpose flour or something, because this would definitely need binding for a burger. And I might even put in a boiled potato. So someday we will make burgers using the same mixture. All my meat, just level it down this way. So there we go. There's my nice and meaty shepherd's pie coming along. Yes? And you could either put on top of this, you could top it with mashed potatoes, or like I'm doing, with sliced potatoes. I'm just gonna layer them nice and pretty. This way. Just keep going. I'm gonna add all the potato, kind of layer it one more time, a little bit. And because I really don't like the idea of wasting anything. And this is all gonna go in the oven. This dish is gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, because even though my meat is all cooked, my potatoes are raw. And you know, it kind of brings the flavor of the vegetables together. So if you're doing mashed potatoes, you might want to just put it in the oven open for like 20 minutes. And so your potatoes are browned on top. In my case, I'm doing sliced potatoes. Spray it with some oil. There we go. So the potatoes get a nice crisp. And I'm going to cover it for the first 20 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes I'm going to keep it open so you get some color on top. And if you do eat cheese, this would be a good time to add cheese, sprinkle a little cheese on this, but I'm not right now eating any cheese at home, so I'm not going to add any cheese. But if you are a vegetarian and you do eat dairy, you could add a layer of cheese between your potatoes. It would be yum. I actually love cheese, but I'm not eating any cheese right now. So it would be really yummy. Whether you eat a vegan grated cheese would be nice in between, or even a dairy cheese. A cheese of your choice. A cheddar would be very nice in this. So go for it. Try a vegan cheddar, or even a jack cheese would be good. But any kind of grated cheese that will melt well. So that's why I think cheddar would be really nice. And if I would think cheddar cheese would go beautifully. So just layer it with cheese in between your potatoes. And if you were doing mashed potatoes, after you put in your meat, you could put some cheese and then layer your mashed potatoes finally. And now it's just gonna be covered and go in the oven. Look how pretty it looks. So I really hope you try this and my other recipes. Please see the link down below. And again, I'm Chef Anita at WannaBee Chef.